Hello, you are watching Shalom World News. I'm Marina Gostu from Washington, D.C. Here are the latest headlines from around the world. The Holy Father, Pope Francis, has modified the Code of Canons of the Oriental Churches with a new motu proprio on Monday, April 17th. The motu proprio, entitled condemn, which means for some time now, mandates that the bishops who have reached the age of 80 cannot take part in voting decisions in their respective synod of bishops. The Pope took this decision following requests made by some patriarchs, major archbishops, and bishops. The apostolic letter states that the changes were introduced because of certain difficulties that crept up in the synod of bishops of the patriarchal churches and major archiepiscopal churches because of the number of bishops emeriti who take part with an active voice. They also take part in the votes to elect new bishops and heads of churches. The Holy Father signed the motu proprio on Sunday, April 16th. A court in Iran has convicted 10 Iranian military personnel of shooting down a Ukrainian passenger plane. According to the official judiciary news outlet, the commander received the maximum penalty, a 10-year jail sentence, while 9 others received imprisonment ranging from 1 to 3 years. It was on January 8, 2020, that Ukraine International Airlines flight PS-752 was shot down by Iranian forces shortly after takeoff from Tehran, killing all 176 passengers and crew. Among the passengers were people holding dual Iranian and Canadian citizenship. The news outlet said that the Tor M1 surface-to-air missile systems commander fired 2 missiles at the airline contrary to orders and without permission. However, the Iranian military forces acknowledged there had been a mistake 3 days after the aircraft was shot down. Amid strained relations between the Holy See and Communist China, Bishop Stephen Chow of Hong Kong is on an historic trip to Beijing. It is for the first time in 3 decades that a bishop from Hong Kong is visiting mainland China. The Jesuit prelate has been invited to spend 5 days in Beijing by the Archdiocese. The visit comes days after the Vatican reported the installation of a new bishop in the country by the communist authorities without seeking its consent. Although the Hong Kong diocese disclosed the visit of the bishop, it has withheld his itinerary. However, a publication affiliated with the diocese stated Bishop Chow would meet with his counterpart, the Most Reverend Joseph Lee of Beijing, tour the National Seminary, and celebrate a Mass of Gratitude at Shoan Woman Church. Twitter CEO and billionaire Elon Musk has announced that he will start his own version of an artificial intelligence chatbot that cares about understanding the universe. Musk has been at the vanguard of a movement led by tech experts pointing out the dangers posed by unbridled research on artificial intelligence, which borders on human extermination. The tech mogul said in an interview with Fox News' Tucker Carlson that his chatbot will be named TruthGPT, and it will be an alternative to ChatGPT, an artificial intelligence app developed by programmers that he helped initially fund. Later, Musk and several others raised concerns about how it can affect the freedom of information. In the interview, Musk said that he was going to come out with a maximum truth-seeking artificial intelligence that tries to understand the nature of the universe. A coalition of French academics, philosophers, medical professionals, and sociologists have condemned an education campaign that portrays sex as a spectrum rather than something fixed. The experts shared their disappointment over the content of an educational campaign led by Le Planning Familial Educational Programs, which has launched a poster campaign to advance modern views on sexuality and family planning. In what is seen as a tacit endorsement of pedophilia, international legal experts have come out with a United Nations-backed report in an attempt to normalize sex with minors. The International Commission of Jurists, based in Geneva, prepared a report with the assistance of UNAIDS and the Office of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, in which they claimed that sexual conduct with persons below the prescribed minimum age of consent may be consensual in fact, if not in law. The report goes on to suggest that children have the capacity and the legal right to take sexual decisions. However, it refrains from actively seeking the decriminalizing of sex with minors. It was published on the website of the International Commission on March 8th, International Women's Day, hinting there is a connection between women's rights and the age of sexual consent. The violence in Africa's Sudan has intensified, with the death toll climbing to 185, leaving more than 1,800 people injured. Fighting is going on between the military and the Rapid Support Forces paramilitary unit. The casualties were confirmed by United Nations envoy Volker Perthes. Conflict is raging in the capital, Khartoum, and the adjoining cities of Omdurman and Bahri. Troops led by Army Chief General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and the paramilitary unit head, General Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, are vying with each other to gain control over the fragile political process to install a provisional government. General al-Burhan has been heading a ruling council that was installed after the 2021 coup that ousted veteran leader Omar Bashir. According to the United Nations envoy, both sides are showing no signs of laying down weapons in spite of repeated appeals by the international community. The Biden administration appears to be determined to push the gender agenda at all levels. On Monday, the White House announced that the president would veto a bill that seeks to stop biological males from taking part in women's sports if it is passed in both houses. Republican lawmaker Greg Steube's The Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act, or H.R. 734, is slated to come to a vote on the House floor this week. In a statement, the White House made it clear that the administration is opposed to the bill. The International Planned Parenthood Federation, or IPPF, comprising 120 organizations spread across 146 countries, is spearheading a toolkit for schools to teach kids under the age of 10 about commercial sex, such as prostitution and other types of sexual activity. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which donates millions of dollars annually, has already given $80 million to IPPF. The World Health Organization is another major supporter of IPPF. A prominent Christian persecution watchdog, Global Christian Relief, has revealed that persecution of believers is intensifying in several Central and Latin American nations. USA-based Global Christian Relief has stated that hostile governments are condemning church activities, jailing and exiling priests, and passing tough laws that force churches to comply. The non-governmental organization also blames drug cartels and armed gangs for targeting the church as they consider it a threat to their trade and growing power. CEO of Global Christian Relief, David Curry, said that the Christian persecution is happening right on America's doorstep. Nicaragua remains the nation where the church is being persecuted the most. The Sandinista socialist regime has expelled nuns, confiscated a monastery, shut down Catholic radio stations, and imprisoned a bishop. Believers in Colombia and Mexico, too, are facing threats and intimidation from gangs, human traffickers, and cartels, says the American NGO. In Myanmar, weapons delivered by Russia and China to the military junta have been responsible for the massive airstrike in Sagaing region, which left 170 civilians dead, including women and children. Last week's attack was the deadliest since the onset of the civil war. According to Tom Andrews, special human rights expert for Myanmar, airstrikes have become a daily occurrence because of the weapons supplied by Russia and China. He said the same type of weapons that are killing Ukrainians are killing people in Myanmar. In 2022, Andrews prepared a report on the shipment of weapons. The report prepared by Andrews found that in 2021, the Myanmar military possessed 7 JF-17 fighter jets manufactured and fitted with the missiles by China. Attacks on pro-life pregnancy resource centers are continuing in the United States. On Saturday, the Bowling Green Pregnancy Center in Ohio was spray painted with phrases such as liars, fake clinic, fund abortion, and Jane's Revenge. Jane's Revenge is a radical abortion group and it has been accused of targeting pro-life pregnancy resource centers across the United States after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. The Counter-Extremism Project, which maintains information on terror groups around the world, has termed Jane's Revenge as a militant pro-abortion group. It also says that the pro-abortion group has claimed responsibility for the vandal attacks across America. The Daily Mail newspaper in Britain has reported that a teacher was forced to apologize to her students for addressing them with a "Good morning, girls" before beginning the class. It appears that 11-year-old students of a school managed by the Girls' Day School Trust were displeased that the teacher was not gender neutral. The teacher spoke to the Daily Mail on condition of anonymity. Some of the students told the teachers that not everyone present there identified as female. With students writing their names and pronouns on the board, the teacher said the experience was humiliating and embarrassing. To make matters worse, they held a lunch protest and held placards that read, "Trans Lives Matter." Although she had to apologize, the teacher's application to remain at the school after the end of her contract was rejected. And those are your latest headlines. Join us again tomorrow for more. You can also visit swnews.org for more updates. Shalom.